Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tinkering About. Today I am reviewing a new game which came out this week called Windscape. Not to be confused with RuneScape, despite the fact the heroine's face looks like that of an elf back when RuneScape was young. In Windscape, you play as a young girl who is living on her parents' farm with her parents. Don't worry, this isn't an adventure game where your parents are dead and you're forced to adventure alone as a child and fend off many monsters as a teenager, only to find out that you're destined for something much greater when you're an adult. And the world that you play in has a beautiful, minimalistic, low-poly feel to it, which, as I'm sure I have said in the past with a few games, is one of my favourite styles that a game could have. I find it to be very relaxing, it makes the game more enjoyable, and even when you enter dark, ominous places, the game still looks inviting and pleasing to the eye. It makes you want to adventure around and look in every nook and cranny, which I really do love about the art style, and I think they've done a very good job with it here. It has a very nice inventory system and a crafting system to boot, along with some nice to-the-point cutscenes, like those you might spot in a Zelda game. In fact, while playing this, I was actually taken back to when I played Wind Waker and got rather nostalgic at some moments. It was very nice. I very much enjoyed that. Aside from that, though, it starts off with you being called into the house by your father to help your mother prepare some dinner, which is a very simple tutorial on how to gather items and how to craft things, how to use the inventory system, which was a very nice way of introducing that, because, I mean, come on, who doesn't want to learn by cooking? The stews look delicious in this game, like some meat stew with some steak and some onions and some herbs. I mean, that's delicious, dude. When that's done and you've prepared dinner for you, your mother and your father, you're then asked by your father to deliver a package to someone in a nearby town. But you get warned that there are some wild animals on the loose, ooh, here we go, and that they may try to munch your throat. So, your dad, being the kind, loving, protective father that he is, sends his little girl out into the wilderness to go to a town with a sturdy wooden club.
Thanks, Dad.
The enemies in the game range from wolves to bees to annoying, slowing spiders that just spit on you and jitter around like it's really irritating. I've never liked spiders in any game. They're just On your way to the village at the start of the game, you come across an old Gandalf who tells you that the islands around you are falling apart, breaking loose and pulling free from each other, which could be the cause of the animals' upset. That, or they're probably just very annoyed that you're smacking them with a wooden club. Just a thought. It's just a guess, although they technically did come after me first, so I think it's highly justified. I'm not going to go to jail for this. This was not manslaughter, it was self-defense. Thank you very much. And just as you enter the town, you come across a rather interesting individual who's running around in a circle saying, "Cannot stop moving, must go forth, need to burn off calories from eating sweets," pretty much. And he tells you about your stamina and the fact that you can sprint a lot and jump around your enemies like a able-bodied, flexible gymnast, which is rather handy to know. Your stamina bar is also very big. It might look rather small, but it depletes very slowly, so you can get from A to B rather quickly. But if you decide to sprint to the point where you run out of stamina, your screen does go a bit blurry and you slow down for a few seconds. So if you're trying to run away from some enemies, best to keep an eye on that, otherwise that might be your downfall. When you arrive in the town, you find the smithy that you're supposed to deliver the package to, and it then rather nicely transitions into the next quest, which is where he asks you to go and see what happened to his copper shipment. And if adventure games have taught me anything, it's that when asked to see what happened to a shipment which should have arrived already, it usually means it was stolen by bandits and is being held in a cave full of mobs. I knew it. Now, I'm not going to spoil the end of that quest line for you, but if you're any good at smacking things in video games, you should be able to guess how it ends. But in all honesty, I saw absolutely nothing wrong with this game. It's got lovely traders, lovely crafting, lovely everything, which is always nice to me. I love to see this at an early access release that's fresh to the Steam store, where the mobs are balanced, the combat is nice and solid, the music is beautiful. I mean, just listen to this. And the quests were very enjoyable and a good length as well. Not too far to run, but not next door so that you get bored quickly. And it helps that you can sprint for ages, because it makes getting from one place to the other much easier. And it also makes combat more interesting when you sprint towards them and decide to jump and do a drop attack on them. I very much like that. The only thing, however, that I do have to say about the game, my one bit of bad criticism, I suppose, would be that there's no fall damage. For a lot of people, that's probably a good thing. I mean, if there is, I couldn't find any. I jumped from ledges, tops of deep holes, and I never took a single point of damage, which, yes, again, it's not a terrible thing. But for me, personally, it takes away from the danger of fighting people close to a ledge or on a bridge or in a mine atop a hole, because I like the thought of having to attack an enemy while also trying not to fall off an edge to my death. Or even better yet, it's fun to maybe kick an enemy or smack an enemy, make them go backwards, and push them off the ledge to their death. So, a little bit of fall damage, that's the only thing I'd say. I like fall damage in a game. Makes it a bit more enjoyable for me personally. That's it. When you're done with the first few quests and you've managed to successfully get the copper shipment back to the smithy, he deems you a heroine of the town, and you get sent to a sky captain, I suppose. His ship flies in the sky, so I think I'm gonna stick with sky captain. And there are still more quests after that, so this is definitely not a demo or a beta. This game has been very nicely fleshed out. There's a lot to it, and I think this thing is chock full of content, and I would very much recommend giving it a go if you have the mere £10.39 to spare for it, which is a very reasonable price because you're getting a decent amount of content in a very enjoyable and relaxing game. It's not too fast that you have to really pay attention, but it's not so boring that you fall asleep. It's very relaxing and chilled. That's a good word for it. It's chilled. You can play this easily on a Saturday afternoon, and if you have time to pass, then just play this, smack some rats or some wolves with your spiked club, and next thing you know, you're ready to go to that big wedding that you should have been at actually 2 hours ago because you've been stuck on this game for too long because it's just that much fun. So now that you've seen the game in action and you've heard about it, go off, get it for yourself, and have some fun in this low-poly wonderland. Goodbye.